Porsche prepared 4 cars to go to Le Mans in '51, this being one of them, and they showed up at Le Mans with the number 46 and the number 47 car. The 47 car crashed in night practice, and then this was the only car that started the race in '51. The car won the 1100cc class, but then also beat all of the 1500 cars. So it finished 20th overall, which was pretty significant for Porsche's first like entry at Le Mans.
And Le Mans,
yeah. So this was the first class win, wow. and then obviously that, you know, the 917 was the first overall win. So the car came to the U.S. This is as it raced at Le Mans in '51, and then it came, and then it did Liège-Rome-Liège and.
Well, you're lucky guy to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In January of 1952, the cars left Germany and came to the US. So Max Hoffman imported these 3 cars to the US. This one came to the West Coast. This one went to Mexico to do the La Carrera Panamericana. And then this one stayed on the East Coast. So this car was owned by John von Neumann, who was a real historic race car driver and also owned Competition Motors, the Porsche dealership right here. And he raced it 3 times, and then he cut the roof off.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, in 1952.
Okay.
So this car's been here in the United States kind of under the radar since 1952. Nobody knew that this was actually the winning car.
Wow.
So the rest of the story will come out in a documentary that we just finished that'll release, but I'm giving, that's enough to, that's enough
just
to,
a teaser.
That's enough to tease you.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
Yeah. So it's a pretty...
It's the original one.
It's the original one. This is the winning car. You know, everybody kind of, you know, talks about me outlawing these 356s, right? So when I was a kid, that was my first car. I built that car when I was 14, and then started racing it. And it was a 53 coupe that I made look kind of like this. I put body bumpers on it, and I split the windshield, and then I did this.
And you built it with 14?
Yeah, I finished it when I was 16. So when I finished this car, I was at some Porsche events and I couldn't show my car. So in like 1990, there was no class to show an outlaw.
An outlaw, yeah.
It was only full Concours, you know, there was a coupe and cabriolet class, but there was no outlaw class. That's when I made this badge and started putting it on my car. It was in 1988, 89, 88, 89.
And nobody understand that? Nobody confusing, like,
they're like,
what the hell is this?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Because of the sign.
Right. Which is the back of the 5 mark coin, right? But so I built that car and then started vintage racing it. I was racing that car at the Portland Historics, and I had a guy come to me and say, you know, Rod, I'd love to be a race car driver like you. And I was 18 years old. And so then that turned into a business where I restored and built all of those cars. So this picture was taken in 2007. So, but in 1992, I started building cars for clients and taking them racing. Wow. So that's what I was doing for all those years, was building race cars. And so these were all cars that I had built for clients.
Okay.
And took them racing.
A lot of.
Yeah, I built like 60 vintage race cars. So cars that we took.
With engine, with gearbox, with all the...
Full restoration. And then what happened is, in 2008, I decided to stop doing the track support and just focus on building cars. This was a 356 that I leaned the nose back.
Yeah.
Leaned the windshield back. And then a regular 356 comes straight down.
Yeah.
So I rolled everything under.
Wow.
And then lowered the top and then lengthened the tail. And then it's all 944 Turbo S suspension. And so like big Brembo brakes and 911 transmission. Kind of changed everything. So this car I built in 1998. And then my wife and son, we have a trailer that goes behind it. And we toured all around the United States, like going to different events, and went to Porsche's 50th anniversary and then different events. So I built this car to kind of prove to, or not prove, but just kind of show the world that you can use these cars for more,
daily,
just tow a trailer, you know, climb hills, do whatever, you know.
But looks really cool because the dimension of the front and the rear and the how low it is, complete new car.
Yeah.
And the bodywork you do it by yourself, complete.
Yeah. So come on. Yeah, I'll show you.
Really nice. Wow, it's big.
So, and this is a 68 911 that I'm doing with like center lock hubs and a bunch of kind of real cool stuff.
Ganz kurz, guck mal da kurz rein. Guck mal kurz rein.
So this will be, that'll be
a custom car.
Yeah. So this area is where we do all of our prototyping here, and then we can send stuff out to have stuff of CNC.
Cool.
Basically, every car, there's 5 of us that do the sheet metal fabrication. So we work from, I get here at 4 a.m. and then all my employees get here at 6 a.m. So right now we're kind of at the tail end of the day because they've already been working.
Starting every day at 4 a.m.
I start at 4 a.m. Yeah, and then all of my guys start at 6 a.m.
Every day?
Every day. Well, except for Sunday. Sunday I sleep in and go to church. So, because that way no traffic, like coming and going to work, no traffic.
Okay.
And it's cooler. And yeah, and then all my guys, they can still go home at a reasonable time and have dinner with their families and all that. So it's just a good time for us.
But then you wake up at 3 o'clock.
3:30, yeah. Every day. Man. So each one of the guys has kind of their area of, you know, so we start, all the cars are really rusty when we start. So we have to go through, and the first thing we do is cut out all the old stuff and then start rebuilding all of the perimeter. And then the next step is new floors, new longitudinals, and then we start doing like all the modifications. Like this, we're starting to modify now and reinforce everything for 911 suspension. Because all the cars that we build, we put 911 suspension, 911 transmission. We have our own engine that is like a 3.6 liter that we turn into a 4-cylinder. So instead of a 6-cylinder, it's a 4-cylinder. So we take a 6-cylinder, we take a 3.6 cylinder or 3.6 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
We eliminate 2 cylinders.
Okay.
So come here. So we take a 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
And we shorten it up and make it a 4-cylinder.
Wow.
So it uses, that way you get all the overhead cam housings, everything from a 964, but it fits inside here as a 4-cylinder.
Wow. Like normally you take an original 5.6 engine and then
but see, that's a push rod engine.
Yeah.
And you can only go like to a 2 liter because of the case. Yeah. And then it's still a single cam push rod engine. This gives us the ability to go, if we use 4 liter 6-cylinder pistons, then we can go to 2.66 liter, so at 2600 cc. And it's all modern. It's all modern bearings, so GT3 bearings.
All advantages of a new model.
All the advantages of a new engine, but in a 4-cylinder package, so that it fits inside here. Wow. We have our own cases that look just like a 3.6 liter, like
but a bit smaller.
But smaller, but 4-cylinder. And then all the parts from a 3.6 bolt right on. So it gives us the drivability and the horsepower, that we need to make these cars drive and handle more like a 911. Yeah. Instead of a 356.
And the gearbox also
911.
911.
Yeah.
And the suspension and the control arms 911.
Except for we modify them. So I take a
make it shorter, right?
Make them narrower.
Narrow, yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you some. We take a 911 arm and then we cut the bearings carriers off and move them in. So that way it fits within
with a
narrower car. And then we notch everything for the CVs and then reinforce all the shock mounts. And now you've got a 911 transmission. Instead of it being a swing axle like a VW or a 356, now it's all IRS like a 911. So
it drives much better,
yeah. So it drives like a 70. People ask what it handles like. It handles like a really well set up 73 911 RS. You've driven an RS or similar, right? Yeah. It just has a really nice planted feel. Wow. But in a 356 bottom. And then like on this car, we lean the roof back. So this all got cut, and we didn't chop the windows. The windows are still stock.
Okay.
But we took the whole roof and like leaned it back.
Okay, I understand.
Including this. So like this used to be here. This used to be here, and this angle used to be there.
Okay.
It still uses a stock windshield.
The stock windshield.
But it's just laid back. Just like my car that's in there, the silver one, it's still a stock windshield, but I cut it out and just laid it back. That way it changes the profile of the car, but
not the windshield.
But it's not like, you know, like a chop.
Like a little cave, yeah.
Right. So it makes the car kind of look like it's lower and longer, and it kind of gives it that feeling of motion. This is one that we just found. It's been repainted once, but it's all original. One owner. It was right here, about 20 miles from here, since brand new.
One owner. Speedster.
Yeah, I have two of them. This one and then one over here. I'll show you. Found them both in the last month. It's just wow. It's just perfect.
And just 20 miles away from here.
Yeah, it was bought brand new, and right here in the San Fernando Valley. They had put different rims on it and repainted it, but it came with the other rims. Yeah. And so all we're doing is just kind of preserving it.
But not repainted, but just, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Because look at this interior. Yeah, even the seats, you know.
Just keep it like that.
Somebody cut a hole for a radio, so we're gonna make that go away.
Okay.
And then just leave it. Yeah.
Now you're a lucky guy twice.